Okay, so first I want to jump into a quick introduction of who we are, right? Before we jump into the Failing Up podcast, humble lessons in life and business.
Yeah.
Is that the name? Yeah.
Sounds good.
Are you asking?
Yeah, I am because we tried this under a different name, right? I think it's a funny, you talk about failing your way forward.
Right.
We tried a podcast on failing and we failed.
Yeah.
And so here we are back. The podcast actually turned out really, really well.
That's right.
What happened, just before I introduced myself, is the first people I played it for were my children. And so the name of the podcast was How I Effed This Up.
Yeah.
And I decided I didn't love that when my little children's precious ears heard it, you know?
So exactly what does that mean, Dad? Right.
Well,
that was the question. What do you mean, Dad?
I found that when we had to explain every time that the F was for failure and not for what you thought it was, that, always got to explain it. It's probably not right. So, here we are back. My name's David Huffaker. I'm the owner and operator of the Level 8 real estate platform, also the operating principal or operating partner of several Keller Williams franchises, and just an all-around great human being, I believe, right? That's probably somewhere in there.
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. Yeah.
My wife says I'm husband of the year.
Right.
She's not here to defend herself, right? And so I get that. I get that credit. Now, so I own a real estate team called the Huffaker Group. And the Huffaker Group is a part of Level 8 Platforms. Level 8 Platforms is a platform for real estate agents and teams to expand their network and their business around the country, and also love just developing agents through the OP role in the Keller Williams ecosystem. Dusty and I share a passion, along with Dr. Taylor, pouring into agents, of helping them identify their goals and their desires, and then using real estate as the vehicle in order for them to accomplish their dreams and everything that they're after, right? Mm-hmm. So happy to be a part. Thank y'all for including me on this.
Yeah. Excited to be here.
Dr. Taylor, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Doctor.
So I am Laurna Taylor, the CEO and co-founder of Sixells Training, which has been a really exciting venture over the past year and a half. We've accomplished a lot, done a lot to pour into agents and market centers and teams, which is something we're going to continue to do with some new exciting partners and tools. So lots of exciting things to come.
That's right. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Excited to be here.
Yeah.
Dusty.
Yes.
My man.
So this is actually the first time I'll say this, that I am the CEO and co-founder of Purpose Coaching.
Heck yeah.
Love
Come
it.
on now.
That's it.
That felt good. That's
Hey,
exciting. Come on
Up
now.
in a step.
So that's where we're stepping into now, to partner with Level 8 and partner with our agents all across the country, and all across the world. Right. I had the opportunity just to be on last week with our folks out in South Africa, and my background is you'll hear this a lot in my Southern voice. My background, I do have a background in pastoral ministry. My dad was a pastor for 36 years, and I've been told I look a little bit like Joel Osteen. So you see
I
that?
can see it.
I see
Yeah.
it.
They also say I sound like Matthew McConaughey, though.
You
so
do.
when you put the
Oh, yeah, for
when
sure.
you put the two of those together,
Yeah.
all right. You know what I'm saying? But that was kind of the start of my background, and I've had a love for people really my whole life. That's what I was taught from day one, is to love people and love people well. I had a great example of that in my dad. And so real estate, really, you talked about a vehicle, David. Real estate became the vehicle to push me into a place in my passion where I could really go and serve people well through teaching and coaching and mentoring. And so that's where Purpose Coaching has been born out of. And David, we've talked about this before. Purpose Coaching really has been born out of you and I talking through our own failures.
That's right.
And how did we get here? And we know that there's other people that are feeling the same way. So how do we provide a space where we can walk alongside them, partner with them, go hand in hand, and go, hey, this is the part of the story that's really real, and this is how we do this well together. And so I'm super honored, excited to partner with you and Dr. Taylor and all the incredible people that come alongside with Level 8. And then Keller Williams, right? When we think about, who we get to partner with there, there's just no better place.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, as we started just talking about the name, I want to come back and circle around just a minute, probably define a little bit better for our listeners what Level 8 is, so that they have a good perspective of that. But how we came up with the new name, right? And really the Failing Up podcast. was a kind of a neat story. We were sitting around, and I was scrolling on my phone and decided one night, like, let's go ask ChatGPT to name our podcast, and kind of said, like, put it in the AI, right? It's like, hey, tell me a name for a podcast, and it gave me this long answer, and I said, hey, I'm a high D personality. Can you shorten this up for me?
Right.
And so it gave me a new name, right? And so I do think how we ended up here, right? It came a really the Failing Up podcast, humble lessons in life and business. And I really think it's important because there's a lot of podcasts out there, especially in our industry. There's a lot of people with pomp and circumstance and all this noise around what they're doing. And you and I have seen a lot of their P&Ls, right? And it's kind of scary what's actually going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we want, and I do think we can almost take that too far the opposite way, right? Like we can so all shucks and be humble that we can't get the message across, right? And so we're looking in this podcast to interview some greats in our industry, some business titans, right? And really come from it from a perspective of, okay, I'm sure you can tell us all the things you've done great and why you're so successful, but tell us about the pain points, right? Tell us about what that was like. And you said, like, as you and I were talking, we all experience over the last 6 months, I've said to a lot of leaders, we're all up at 2:00 in the morning worrying about our people. So let's just quit acting like we're not. Like somehow we've got this cape around us that prevents us from stress and worry, and lean into that and try to support each other. So then coming from that to a place of what do we need to do in order to fill that void, right? You and I've talked about the hole that I think a lot of us walk around with or could be walking around with, and trying to satisfy that through some outside mean, right? And you and I, just being Christian men, understand that like there's this faith and this belief, right? That there is something out there that we have this purpose in life, and able to kind of go like, when I fulfill that, right? When I take care of Gary Keller says to us, right? When you put the person together, the world falls into place. I've loved the journey over the last year, especially with you, right? And with you, of us learning that, because we all spent the last 10 years in real estate, just money rains from the sky, right? In Tennessee, you're born, you get a birth certificate and a real estate license, and then money just falls out of the sky.
Right. Yeah.
So let's dig into that a little bit. Real quick, just using this as a chance to introduce ourselves, give us a little bit about your background. Before we do that, actually, wait, Level 8. So let's talk a little bit about what Level 8 is, because a lot of people aren't going to know what that is. And so we started out, real estate teams became a thing, 15 years ago or so. Everybody said they'd never make it. And now you look up and some of the largest teams in the country are doing $200, $300, $400, $500 million a year in volume. And have found a really great way, I would say in some regards, in replacing the brokerage, right? And what the brokerage offers. And yet, as the industry has evolved, agents are seeking support, right? They're seeking a togetherness. Real estate can be a lonely sport. Right. So for our team, the Huffaker Group, we did about $215 million in volume last year. I had the pleasure to serve about 615 families or so. As that evolved, Gary Keller started talking about a platform that would consolidate the industry, right? And so the opportunity for us to create a platform that serves mega teams out there. So this year, collectively, Level 8 will have the chance to do about $500 million in real estate volume. And so the cool thing about that is when I looked up and realized the amount of talent around me that we could pull together and share amongst teams and amongst companies consolidates the industry and really created efficiencies of scale. So as we talk about Level 8 and the development of that, the Level 8 is now a conglomeration of 9 different companies, right? With Purpose Coaching being the most recent one. But really a chance to kind of say, like, we offer operations, we offer marketing, we offer training, we offer coaching, we have sales development, we have recruiting, we have wealth building, we have property management, we have all this stuff that we can offer to these mega teams out there, so they don't have to go out and recreate the wheel every time.
That's right.
And we felt a lot over the last year, right? You and I over the last year and a half in building it. So real quick, just a quick snippet. Tell us something unique about yourself and maybe a failure that you'd want to share with everybody.
Gosh. Okay. Unique about myself. I am an avid fisherwoman. So, if we're talking hobbies, I love to fly fish. I love to bass fish. I could be on the water every day of the week. My favorite thing, right?
I know that about you because you're about the only person I know that I can text my fish pictures to, and
Yes.
it's not weird.
And then I text back, stop sending me your fish pictures because now I feel like I need to be on the water.
Right.
Yes.
I try not to send them in the middle of the day because then they know I'm not at work.
It's really painful.
She's probably asking you to send them for proof too, Dave, so that you're
True.
not like, hey, I
True.
caught a big fish today, and Dr. Taylor's like, send me the fish.
That's right.
Send it to me.
Well, so I loved it.
Yes.
I was, and I think I told you this, but I was fishing and I sent one to Gary Keller, and he didn't really respond back in words. He just responded back with like 30 fish pictures. And I was
I
like,
love it.
Gary, I'm pretty sure it's the same fish. You're just taking pictures in different
Different
places
angles,
with
closer to the
same
lens.
fish, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Yes.
fun experience. Yes, I love that you love fishing and we share that passion.
Yes, I love it. And a way that I failed, is that the question?
Mhm,
Yeah. So I think in starting this Sixells experience, right? Prior to that, I was working in education and training, and I loved it. But what I love about some of the things you've said as we've talked today is I wasn't fulfilled, right? I found that I was getting home, and especially during COVID, I had a 13-year-old son at the time who was trying to go to middle school on his own on Zoom while I was working, all day and all night, trying to help my students be successful, my teachers be successful, my trainers be successful. But I was missing a big piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so coming out of that, I realized it was time to pause and really look at what my purpose was, and refocus on some of the things that were really important to me, specifically my family, and then try to marry a couple of things that I loved very much, which was educating, supporting, building people up, and also, bringing my family in as a part of that. So the whole person, right? So at the time, I really felt like I was failing with my family, and walking away from that and starting something new. I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I am stepping off of a cliff, right? I've been doing this for 15 years, and, I feel like I know what I'm doing. And now I'm stepping into something new. And it was, looking back, probably the best decision I ever made. Now I get home and talk to my son, and we spend so much more time together, and we've gotten a lot closer over the last year or so. Out of failure, right? I hope has come some triumph, and a whole new exciting venture. So,
and that's the
really
beauty
good.
of it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. And I do want to, in some future episodes, really dig into the 2020 hindsight, right? Because almost the pain that you experience sometimes in the moment is so strong that but in hindsight, you can look back, and as time goes on, you can see God's perfect hand. Right. In the plan, right? And it gives you, it's given me peace as I've gotten older to know that as I go through struggles, that there is a perfect plan there, right? And that this too shall pass, and it will become something that will teach me to grow. So, all right. So wrap us up, buddy. Tell us a little bit, something unique about you, and sometime you failed.
Yeah. So time that I failed, I have a book of those. I'm sure you guys too, right? I think I can write a whole book of those. Unique about me, it may not look like this on camera. I'm 5'6", so that's unique. 5'6", 125, just so y'all know. So let's see a few things.
They say the camera adds like 9 inches, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Don't tell me that.
Yes, that's what it does.
You're really 6'2"
that's what it does. So uniquely, my brother's name is Rusty. I usually share that with everybody. When your brother's name is Rusty, and you sound like I do, they only let you be from Texas or Tennessee. I had to pick one of them. So they're like,
you're in good company.
We'll be from Texas. For me, I'm an avid athlete. Like I love everything, athletics, played, Division I tennis, and, at 5'6", I was told I couldn't do that. And so I showed them, yes, we can. And I love golf and all the above. So, that's what I would say on that front. I do sing and play guitar. So, and he asked for one. I'm just
I didn't know that.
So,
I didn't know that.
It's a true story.
Ooh.
Yeah. Come on now. Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. Come on. Man, when I think about failure, I really could, just list them. And I think if I would say what have my biggest failures been, it would be the fact that sometimes I have allowed myself to stay on the failure, right? That I've allowed myself to feel the guilt and feel the shame of, man, you should have been better. You should have done better. Like you were taught better. Why did you make that decision? And so I think just when I look at them, I think one of the things that I've learned through the process of failure is, and I know we're going to dig into these things. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, and I learned from a mentor of mine, is that failure is an event and not a person. I think one of my biggest failures has been that for a long season of my life, I thought I was the failure. It was me. I did it wrong, right? Like I should have spent more time, or I should have done this, or I should have done that, and I should not have done this.
It's funny how quick we can be to forgive others, right?
Yeah,
and
sure.
really
that's right.
Never forgive ourselves, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so then we sit, right, in the guilt and the shame, and then it goes into the spiral of then that guilt and the shame really just leads to more failure.
Yeah.
Of us seeking to numb the feeling that I have. And so that's part of what we've talked about before, right, David, is how do we, I think sometimes too, as men, we feel that we've got to take care of everything, be the answer to everything. And, one of the things we coach in Purpose is raising your hand and asking for help is a sign of maturity, not weakness.
That's right.
Right? Like that's, what's the definition of being a man? What's the definition of, learning from the event of failure is to put your hand up and go, hey, I don't know. Kind of going back to level 8 as you were talking, Dave, one of the things I thought was what level 8 is, what it has been, what it is, what it will be, is it is a place of help. It's a place of let's help before the failure where we can, right? Because I know when I look back in my real estate career, like a level 8 would have been great.
Yeah.
Right? Like then I wouldn't have done all these things, right?
Right, yeah.
But then it's also a place of, okay, let's help you in the failure.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of folks I think that come to us are going to be in the middle of it, right? That's why they're coming.
Well, and you think like the whole idea is that we can learn from each other, right? Like a great coach will help you see around corners, right? Help you navigate the pitfalls. And so we want to be able to do that. There is an interesting dynamic in our industry in specific of people wanting to do it themselves. I don't know if it's the entrepreneurial spirit.
That's right.
But I hear a lot of times I go like, no, you don't. Like, that's not some of those things you don't want to go do yourself. Like you don't want to go feel that failure. Kind of in wrapping us up, I think one of the things we want to make sure we think about when it comes to failure is we talk a lot about, we have there's fancy t-shirts and bumper stickers and all this stuff that says like fail forward, right? And I want to make sure that failure isn't a great success point when your tongue's hanging out on the mattress, right? When you've just taken one on the chin or someone's yelling at you, or I mean, you think about like when you've let your spouse down, right? Or when you've not been the father that you or the mother that you wanted to be.
Yeah.
Like it may look cute on a t-shirt, but like it hurts, right? And it's that emotional pain that you go through right there that helps you. But if you can lean into that and understand like what can you learn from it and how can you move back? Like you said, it's a moment in time. Can I learn from this and can I move on and can I build on it? And that to me relates so much to business, because in business the same thing, right? We're gonna have a plan, we're gonna execute it, we're gonna fail, we're gonna learn something, we're gonna go back out and redo it.
That's right.
So guys, I hope you all continue to join us this season as we have our guests and as we talk through failure. We hope to make it fun. We hope to make it exciting. We hope that you will learn something and that you walk away with a way to look at your failures, that you see it as a positive, that you see it as an opportunity to make an impact on your life. And you can turn around and help the next person in line grow and develop through their failures as well.